Welcome to the Tall Girl Tuesday podcast. It's your girl Danny, and on this week's episode, I wanted to discuss something that has been on my mind a lot as of late, and that's the idea around affection and what that looks like for people. I put on my Twitter a couple days ago, I've been told that I lack affection, and I've heard this from many people. This is not the first time that I've heard it, and probably won't be the last. But now it's something that I'm really trying to work on and pay more attention to, and to be more open about, and to also change the narrative of the impression that I'm giving off. For the most part, it all boils down to my troubles with being vulnerable. I think that for me is something that I struggled with for years and years and years, and I continue to. I'm not trying to self-diagnose myself, but I do feel like a lot of that comes from the way a person was brought up. And I was on a friend of mine's Instagram live like a couple weeks ago, and I was explaining that to him. Shout out to Crab Bay if you're listening. And I was explaining, he was saying how in a situation a guy is kind of expected to do certain things, but the woman is not reciprocating it. And I had to explain to him, you have to realize that some people can only love the way they know how to, because not everybody's dynamic is the same. Like he was saying how he came from a loving family and affectionate and all of that. And I'm explaining to him, that's not everybody's reality. So the sooner you realize that, the better off you will understand or pick up on the subtle things that a person is doing to show you that they care about you, even if they can't explain it at the time. So in addition to that conversation and me being told recently and oftentimes that I lack affection, I was like, this is something I need to talk about. I think a lot of it, without even having to get a therapist to confirm that, is that it's how you're raised. And I've said it on my platform several times. I'm not someone who comes from a loving and affectionate family. That is not the reality of my life and my upbringing. My family is not affectionate. My family's not really close. That is, that's a huge factor in the way a person grows up, or the way a person views love, affection, how nurturing they are. All of those things matter and are relevant. I hear and think more and more about the topic, because I don't ever want someone to feel like they can't really tell how I feel about them, but I can understand why they would feel the way they do. And I have trouble with being vulnerable. I can just think of a time where I told my own grandmother I loved her and she didn't even respond. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about things like that, and it's like my own family won't show me love and affection and attention, or when I outwardly express how I'm feeling in a moment and it is not even said back to me or reciprocated, and it's like, okay, wow, well, and it's like, okay, well, I'm sorry that I even wasted my time sharing that. And it's also sad. You know what I mean? It's sad that is the reality, but it is. That's something that happened a couple years ago, and I still I'm not going to say have trauma behind it, but I'm still I'm a strong believer that a lot of people, especially in terms of a family dynamic, only love you because they have to, if that makes sense. We're a family, we share a last name, we may have shared a household or an upbringing together. So naturally I love you because I have to. I hope that kind of makes sense, but some people might not get it. Some people will. But I do struggle with telling people how I feel, and that is because of the fear of rejection. I can't ever remember a time where I told a guy I loved him first. Honestly speaking, I would like hold it forever. Even if I felt that way, I wouldn't be the first to say it because I've been conditioned to feel like my feelings don't really matter or are not important enough to share. And that's a problem. That is something that's problematic in a lot of different types of relationship dynamics. It's a problem. I realize it, I understand it, but it's like, okay, well, I'm not about to be putting myself out there if I'm not getting anything in return, or if you're not making an effort to tell me how you feel. But it's to the point now where it's like I have to get a handle on this fear and this narrative that people have about me, that I'm not affectionate, or I'm not, or, they're having an issue with understanding how I feel about them. So that's kind of one of my goals for 2021. I think a lot of my goals that I put on myself to be better mentally and physically, for 2020, I've been doing a lot better with. I see the growth in myself in terms of the things in terms of where I used to be and where I am now. So that's going to be my 2021 goal, to learn how to open up and be vulnerable and to be free and to express myself and not worry so much about how it's received. I'll say that. That's one of the 2021 goals. A part of that for me is like, in certain situations, I can just outright say this is what I like and what I don't like, and that be it. However, the problem I have is when I tell you I don't like something and you continue to create an environment where I'm having to continue to complain about that same thing over and over again. Now it becomes a problem for me, because maybe 2 or 3 times, yeah, we all need to be reminded. But if it's a continuous pattern, something that happens like on a weekly basis, then now I start to wonder if the person even cares enough to not do the things that I say bother me. And I'll even use sex for an example. I feel like men sometimes understand things better in terms of sex. So I've said on this platform several times that I'm the type of person, I like to, from the beginning, tell a guy what I like and don't like in terms of in the bedroom. I like to share those things, and I like to know your likes and dislikes too, because once we get to that point, then it's no reason for us to have any awkwardness when it's time to get down and dirty. And I also like to understand what it's going to take to get you where you need to get, because I'm a pleaser. I'm more concerned about making sure you're happy, obviously more than just in sexual terms, but I'm the pleaser. I'm the one that makes sure that you get what you got to get from me, even if that means my needs aren't always met. And I feel like all of that ties into this topic very well, because I feel like men understand things better in terms of sex. So if I can say to my partner, I love this when you do this, and these are the things that I love sexually, and every time we're having sex and we getting down, everything that I need is getting taken care of. However, if I then in turn say, I need us to communicate more throughout the week, and then week 1 goes by, there's no change. Week 3 goes by, there isn't much change. And then now I find myself complaining again about, I need more communication, or I need to speak to you more often, or things like that, and it doesn't get done. Now I start to wonder, like, what's the difference? Because if I'm expressing to you the things I like in a sexual sense, and you can make sure, you can make it your business to make sure that it's being done, why can't you make sure it's being done in the non-sexual sense and in just day-to-day stuff? And that bothers me sometimes, because it's like, the same way you have, the same way you're able to comprehend what I'm saying to you, the things I like and dislike in the bedroom, you should keep that same energy, basically, when I say these are the things that I like and dislike, or want and don't want, in terms of the overall relationship. So a lot of times there's the balance between the two is a struggle. And that leaves me very annoyed at times. I feel like, am I asking too much? I doubt it. And I'm really thinking that people pick and choose or make a conscious effort to be better at than others. And that's the part where I wonder, what is the point of me even explaining these things to you or having a conversation about it if you're not going to at least try to get better at it or do better at it? Because for me, if you tell me like something that you like, I'm going to make sure that I do it, because I want to make sure that you're happy. And I also want you to know that I'm paying attention, and the things that you need and want from me are valid. So if I'm not getting that in return, and you continue to be relaxed on the things that just the day-to-day type of things, I'm not ever going to be comfortable enough with you or around you to feel like I can be myself completely. That's going to continue to be a struggle. So it's like, where is the balance in all of that? Where is the balance in opening up and being more vulnerable and affectionate, and getting to that point where, see, for me, it's a lot of my relationships start in my mind, in terms of not like I'm with the person and the person don't know we're together, but more like my mind is stimulated first. My mind is always stimulated first. So that I crave that more than anything in a relationship. So if I've already gotten to the point where I feel like you're someone I can be with, or I can see myself with, or I want to build with, then I've already made up in my mind that you at least have the ability to be, provide the things for me that I need. You feel me on that? So when those needs aren't being met, or are only being met in one aspect of the relationship and not the other, that causes me to just like crawl into a hole, in the sense where, like, no, I'm not going to sit there and just like dap you up when you come through the door, or, not show or say or do anything to express myself, but it's limited. I don't feel like I can be 100% myself with you, because you're not paying attention to the things that are most important to me, or making a conscious decision to be consistent with the things that are extremely important to me. And then after a certain amount of time, I'm not going to continue to complain. I'm just going to like not really go through the motions, but I'm just going to meet you where you are. Like, if this is a surface type of relationship that you want, then that's what we're going to have. And then at some point, it's going to get to the point where one of the parties involved are going to get frustrated, or a real heart-to-heart conversation is going to be had, and some consistency needs to come from it. Otherwise, it's just going to be like a cycle, a continuous cycle. So those are the types of situations that I have been in, and those are the only things that I could think of, which are major things, especially the stuff that I said in the beginning about my family. I guess make it a little bit difficult for people to understand me or to know how I feel. But I'm trying to do better with that. It's really, really been on my mind lately, because I do me any good. I'm doing myself a disservice, I feel, sitting on these feelings or wanting a person to know how I feel and just don't have it in me to say it out loud. That's not cool, especially at my age. I feel like, what am I so afraid of at this point? What is the, like, at the end of the day, what am I afraid to lose? And that's what I've been telling myself. What am I afraid to lose? Because either the person's going to be with it or they're not. I don't know. I'm getting better. I'm working on it. That's a 2021 goal for me. And have to give you guys an update on that and see if anything has gotten better, or, you know, I'll be honest and let y'all know, like, yeah, I ain't feeling this, not for me, or give y'all a little story time about how the conversation went when I actually did open up, and we'll just see from there. But as always, thank you for tuning in. Shop the Teespring shop. Get yourself some Tall Girl Tuesday merch. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Tall Girl Tuesday, the podcast. And as always, thank you for tuning in. I will see you